Be inspired, supported, and empowered. This is the Global Healthy Living Foundation podcast network.
Welcome to Talking Head Pain, the podcast that confronts head pain head-on. I'm your host, Joe Coe, Director of Therapeutic Area Growth and Integration at the Global Healthy Living Foundation, and also President of GHLF Canada. For today's special episode, I'm at the European Headache Congress in Barcelona, Spain. I'm here with a very special guest. Can you introduce yourself, state your name, and where you're from?
My name is Franchesca Fiorito. I am currently coming from San Juan, Puerto Rico. I am a headache specialist there in the island.
So I was sitting outside one of the sessions and listening to a conversation between you and another provider, and I learned that you are doing really amazing work in Puerto Rico. Can you share with our audience what that work is?
Yes, of course. So when I graduated 8 years ago from Montefiore Medical Center with Dr. Lipton, I decided to go back to Puerto Rico, and I was able to go back to the University of Puerto Rico neurology residency. I started a curriculum for headache medicine and the headache medicine clinics for the residents, which I was fortunate there was interest, and one resident for a year had started to apply into headache medicine. So now formally there are 5 fellowship-trained headache specialists in the island. In addition, I started to create an outside headache center. So the idea is to continue expanding into a multidisciplinary headache center. But really, it's just focused on all specialties related to headache medicine. And the center is set up in a way for headache patients, right? Like the lighting is very low, it's perfume-free, there's no noise. It's a very quiet, calm clinic. So that's something that we're working on.
What are some of the top unmet needs in the population in Puerto Rico?
I think the main one is first just the patient having access to education, Spanish-wise as well, and them recognizing they have a problem. Because if the patient does not recognize that this is not normal, living with headache, living with pain, and they don't seek help, then it doesn't matter if there are providers or not. That's the first step. But then unfortunately, the second step, and I think the biggest barrier, is getting an appropriate provider. And there were no formal headache specialists before I went back there. And even me going back and being the only one for 6 years, there was no way I could see the amount of patients that have a need for a headache specialist. So that's why it was important to grow. And even though there's a group of us now, there's still such a big need. And I think also the insurance companies educating them, because they have local insurance companies. And even though they're supposed to follow the guidelines of the U.S. territory, it does not always go that way. So really getting into meetings with them specifically about the headache guidelines for them to appropriately approve medications was another step in my career.
So important to deal with those access issues. One last question. We were talking a little bit prior to the interview about your work across specialties. What has been some of the work that you've done in rheumatology and neurology?
Oh, rheumatology. Well, I haven't formally done any work with rheumatology. I know Dr. Oscar Soto, which who's an amazing rheumatologist back home, and he has helped me out, and we've done clips on migraine and interviews on that. But now we're looking into our society. We have the Puerto Rican Academy of Neurology. I'm the current president. So we're looking into doing a congress now. We have a yearly convention and congress, including the impact of different pain disorders in neurology. So we want to unite the rheumatologists with us to educate us as well regarding how our conditions intertwine at many times.
That is such amazing work. Excited to hear about the society being formed, and really appreciate your time and energy here today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was great.
Thank you for listening to this special episode of Talking Head Pain, the podcast that confronts head pain head on. If you have any questions, thoughts, or suggestions for us, you could send us an email at podcast@ghlf.org. If you enjoyed this episode, please give it an honest 5-star rating, write a positive review, and spread the word by sharing it with your friends and family. I'm Joe Coe from the European Headache Congress, and I will see you next time.
Be inspired, supported, and empowered. This is the Global Healthy Living Foundation podcast network.